What's up everyone, and welcome on back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. If you are one of my returning subscribers, thank you for coming back and supporting and watching. You already know that I appreciate you guys. And if this happens to be your first time stopping across my channel and clicking a video, I want to welcome you as well. My name is Monet. I am 26 years old, and here on this channel I am just showcasing my financial journey and how I budget my finances. I am a single budgeter, and I have been doing this process for the past 3 years. I have been seeing great improvements. I've allowed myself to get out of debt with this method, and it just really helps me control my finances, and I showcase this to help and inspire others that want to learn it as well. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, then definitely don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and join the family. We would always love to have you, and don't forget to click the notification bell so that you will always be notified whenever I upload my next video. Okay, so getting started with today's video, we are going to be budgeting out my finances for the month of May. If you missed my last video, which I will link up in the cards, or you can just, click the last video I uploaded, there has been a lot of life changes and updates that are happening with myself, and they directly influence my finances. So we are going to attempt to budget for May, given all of the new circumstances that I am dealing with. So here we see I have my budget sheet. These are my printables that you can download. I have them available within my Etsy and my website. So you can just print them out at your house if you find that these would be useful for you. So I'm just going to go to our May calendar, and I'm going to set that up first before we dive into the numbers. All right, so here we have my May calendar, and what I really like to do with this sheet is to just write down all of the bills and when they are due, just so that I can see visually when they land. And I also like to document when I will get paid so I know when I can pay my bills. So I'm first going to highlight my paydays. So I know I'm getting paid on May 5th and May 19th. So those are the paydays that I will be receiving income from my full-time job. And in terms of bills that I have due this month, they're going to be a little bit different because some bills won't be due this month, but they will be due next month, and some bills will be due for the last time this month. So getting started with May 1st, I did have to pay my rent, which I already did for the month of May, and I did just take that out of my savings. And then on the 1st, I also had to pay for my storage unit. So this is an expense that won't be here next month, but I did have to pay on my storage unit for the last time in May. And then my other two bills that I have due are going to be my internet, and that's going to be on the 16th. And then I also have my car insurance due. So in terms of any of the other bills like electricity, that's not going to start this month. And then down here for the note section, I just like to notate if there's any holidays or events that are going to be happening for the month of May. And we all know that Mother's Day is this month, so I would just write that down there to keep that on my radar. But in terms of bills, this is all I have for the month. I like to keep it light as I possibly can. I'm a person that really likes to pay things annually because I really do not enjoy monthly payments. But yeah, so that is all we do for the calendar view, and now we can actually dive into the numbers for my budget. All right, so here we see we have our May budget. So this is the sheet I like to do for the entire month, just so I see if I'm going to be under or over budget, and it just lets me get an idea of where my money is going to go. I like to do a zero-based budget, so I do account for each dollar, and I'll just walk you through the process of how I set up this sheet. So the first thing that I like to fill out is going to be for income, so that we can note what I'm going to bring in. So I am going to write full-time. So when it comes to this month in particular, the numbers are going to be very off because I did just start my new job. So for the month of May, with my first paycheck, it only accounted for 1 week's worth of work. I did receive what that paycheck number is going to be. So I did just note it in the monthly number calculation, but then in terms of my next paycheck that I'm going to get on May 19th, I don't really know because it'll be my first time getting a full check with my full 40 hours. So I just budgeted on the low end of what I think it will be. And then once we actualize at the end of the month and we see what the number really is, we can get a better gauge of what next month will look like. I also want to note, when it comes to the number that I write, this is after things have been taken out of my paycheck. I take out my medical insurance, my dental insurance, I take out my 401k, and I am also tithing, so I take out my tithe. So by the time you see the number that I'm writing, it's not actually my number, but that's the number that I will show within this sheet. So getting started with what I think I'm going to budget for the month of May is going to be $3,293, and that's going to be the total that we're working with. So the next box that I have written here is for debt. I am debt-free, thankfully, so I don't have anything to note here. So I just put a line through it because there's nothing to show there. And then I have this box here for my sinking funds. So I'm just gonna go ahead and write that real quick because that might take some time, and then we can go through the numbers. All right, so here are my sinking funds. You will see that I did add some new things. Primarily, I added savings goals that I'm trying to achieve for the year. And I will make a separate video explaining my savings, what I'm trying to make for the year, and what the end goal is going to be. But for right now, I'm just gonna budget that into my budget. And being that my paycheck is going to be lower this month, I did want to focus the money that I am receiving to go towards my savings. So in terms of my sinking funds and what I budgeted for, they're not getting a lot just because, again, I'm trying to focus on my savings. But next month, once I actually know my numbers, I can better budget for my sinking funds and begin to grow those again as well. But for the month of May, I am budgeting $40 to go to annual payments. Car maintenance is budgeted for $0. Car insurance is budgeted for $0. Christmas $0. Gifts $0. Household I budgeted $20. Medical is $0. Travel $0. Savings is budgeted at $150. Emergency fund $330. And house fund with $375. So that totals up my sinking funds at $915. So next we move over to my monthly bills, and this is where I just list out everything. And the first thing that we have, of course, is going to be rent. I have found a new apartment, and that requires me to have to pay rent again. Now, my actual rent is $16.50, but I know that water is included in it, and I don't know how much my water is going to be. My leasing agent said it shouldn't be more than $30, but I'm just gonna budget on the high end just to be sure. And this is rent that I'm trying to save up for next month, which would be June. So I did budget $1,700 for rent. And then in terms of electricity, that would be my next bill. But this is a utility that's not going to kick in on the first month. They said that it's gonna come through on the second month. So as of right now, when I looked at my bill this morning, it was $0, so I'm gonna budget $0. Then I have my internet, and that is going to be $56 a month. And those are my really main bills that I budget for. In terms of renter's insurance, I pay that annually. In terms of all the little subscriptions and everything, I pay that annually. As I said, I like to pay things once a year so that I don't have to deal with budgeting it each month. So now we get into like my variable spending. So first up, we have gas. Gas for the month, I'm going to budget $100. I might have to increase this next month because I'm still unsure of how much gas I actually use in my new location and how much the drive to and from work is going to cost me in terms of gas. But right now I feel like $100 should sustain me for the month. Next we have spending. I only budgeted $50. Again, since this is a low pay month, I am trying to put money towards things that I feel like are a necessity. So my spending, I should be good with 50. I don't really spend a lot on myself, but that should be good enough in case I want to buy a few odds and ends. Groceries for the month, I am budgeting $170. And normally with groceries for the month, I don't spend that much for myself. But, you know, since it's a new place, I feel like I'm going to have to rebuy everything from spices to meat to seasonings. So I'm anticipating that I'm going to be spending more than usual for groceries. Next, it is my toiletries. Toiletries, I am budgeting $50. Following that, it is clothing. Clothing is going to get $20. I'm not really big on buying clothes and I really don't need any. And then eating out, I'm going to budget $30 for the month. I really don't like to eat out a lot. I really try and eat at home when I can. So after I account for my variable spending, that's when I just bring in these two boxes into my monthly budget. So if I had debt, I would write debt here and put the total number. But here I'm going to write my sinking funds and just note that the $915 that we totaled here is just going to get placed over here with my monthly bills. And then next up, I have two payments that I don't anticipate paying for next month. So first up is my car insurance. So my car insurance is tricky to explain, but normally I pay my car insurance every 6 months. But given that I was unsure of my living arrangement, I didn't want to get car insurance in North Carolina if I wasn't sure that I was going to be in North Carolina for the long run. So I was paying my car insurance monthly. Normally I save up my car insurance within my sinking funds, and that, you know, accounts for the next 6 months. So this is going to be the last month that I'm going to pay my car insurance monthly, and then I'm going to get back on saving up for the next 6-month payment. So to account for that, I do have to pay $106. And then of course we have my storage unit, and that's going to be $96 to close that out and be done with that payment. So now we see everything that I have to pay for the month. And then I'm just going to go ahead and total up everything and see what I get. All right, so that gives me a total of $3,293. And here I just like to know if I'm over or under budget. As I said, I try to do a zero-based budget. So we see I'm budgeting $3,293 and my bills are at $3,293. So I just write 0 here to show that every dollar has been allocated. And in terms of my monthly budget, that is really all I do. I just want to make sure that I have enough coming in to cover the bills. As I said, this is just a rough estimate, but I feel like, you know, things are going to work out and everything is going to be fine. So definitely let me know if this was helpful for you guys. I normally don't share my monthly budget setup, but I am coming back and trying new things and seeing if this is also something that would be helpful. So let me know if you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions about it, I will either try and answer it in the comments or hopefully address it within the next video to offer some clarity. But as always, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet and you are thinking about subscribing, go ahead and do that. And with all of that, you guys, that's all I have for today, and I will catch you all next time in my next video. Bye guys.